well, was the SEC intentionally trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the judge and say that this didn't have use case and it didn't have utility? Or were they really that bad in doing their research, where some people think that the SEC knew XRP had utility, but they were going to try to make the story that it didn't? I think their research was poor. I can't imagine they thought they could. How in the world did they think they could get by with trying to put that story out there and that it wouldn't be shot full of holes?
So did they seek to intentionally mislead? That is, in a sense, that's really a terrifying thought. It may also be possible that they have a certain amount of overconfidence given their standing before the courts in general, and don't worry about exaggeration to make their point. I don't know if that's the case. It seems specious to me in a matter of law such as this that they would be cavalier like that. And so I think it does warrant these questions about, are they intentionally looking to deceive? I mean, certainly, you know, in any law case, you are looking to present a viewpoint, because it's hard to imagine how you could say with a straight face, if you've done any research, that there is no use here.
Right.
That's so blatant that it makes you wonder.
Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and that was Wrath of Kahneman. It is the second in a mini-series that I did with him. He joined me last Friday, and yeah, I agree, it's terrifying to think that the SEC had the intent to mislead. The SEC filed that complaint against Ripple Labs, Bradley Garlinghouse, and Christian Larson on December 22nd, 2020. In that complaint, the SEC cites that, to the contrary, under both Larson's and Garlinghouse's stewardship, Ripple promoted XRP as a speculative investment when either no use case existed or, with the eventual development of the ODL product, only a small fraction of XRP arguably was being used for a few moments for non-investment purposes before being sold to investors. Not only was that wrong, but they went on to say that nor are XRP investors in any position to increase significantly demand or value for XRP by developing a use for the token through entrepreneurial efforts, at least not without Ripple's support. Oh boy, are they so wrong on this. On October 13th, if you remember, the judge in the Ripple and SEC lawsuit granted permission for iRemit and the Jet Company to submit their amicus briefs. You're going to see a few more briefs come through. In this video, you're going to hear one more time from the Wrathman, also an update on ISO 200.2.2, and there is a competing payment rails company to Ripple that just introduced smart contracts, a stablecoin, and a new way to settle low-volume cross-border payments. All right, everybody, let's go. A quick look at SWIFT. They were founded in Brussels, May 1973. They had at that time 239 banks from 15 countries, and they sent their first message in 1977. Today, they have 3 data centers, one in the state of Virginia in the United States, the Netherlands, and one in Switzerland. So these banks that have joined, DBS, Barclays, JP Morgan, Citibank, US Bank, HSBC, Wells Fargo, etc., they are all going to participate in the new SWIFT Go solution. And it was BNY Mellon that conducted the first cross-border low-volume payment leveraging these SWIFT rails with the new Go solution from Egypt to China, and it took them 3 hours. What you want to understand is that BNY was the intermediary bank on both sides of the transaction between QNB in Egypt and the remitting bank and the Shanghai Pudong Development Bank, which is in China. They were the beneficiary bank. So it's an important part of this solution to understand is that those participants want to keep their finger in the flow of SWIFT. They're sitting in the middle of those transactions. The other big announcement at the Sibos event was the talk of the ISO 20022. It is not going to be fully implemented globally until 2025. I want you to listen to the banking head at MUFJ, that is Japan's largest bank, where the coming standardization of this message language is going to remove friction. This is not a flip the crypto switch. Banks need to get ready for November 2022 because it marks the start of the migration to ISO 20022. The full implementation does not occur until November 2025.
Now, ISO really is, from 2025, an opportunity to remove much of that friction. All banks will work on that same standard, and I think it's a tremendous opportunity for standardization, but also personalization. So you get the data that you want to get to help you build insightful, meaningful MI to drive your own decision making. So it's not because we're here at Sibos that we talk about ISO, but most of us in the industry would feel this allows us to cut cost. This allows us to provide frictionless services and improve the customer experience, and then build from there a next generation of solutions and cooperations.
And now I want to jump back to when I had a conversation with Wrath of Khan on Friday. We talked a lot about ISO 20022, and we also talked about the importance of being very factual. Have a listen.
The name's awkward too, because honestly, I think I'm not very wrathful. Since 2018, just poking around the internet, trying to learn what I can.
You don't get emotional. You stick to the facts. I appreciate that. I appreciate others out there that are doing the same, like Nick and Panos and Matt Hamilton, Alloy Networks. It's great to have the help, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. In many ways, we're really fortunate that there are people who are working on the ledger, coding it, sustaining it, supporting it, who are willing to point out what's actually happening. I feel very fortunate to have those people chiming in. It's, it's difficult because in investing, they always say, buy the rumor, sell the news. And so it's tempting to just leap from rumor to rumor. But at the end of the day, I think what a lot of us really want to discover are facts, and then make a decision. I think that you have to decide for yourself what you think is good evidence, what constitutes a fact. An opinion on Twitter, to me, is not fact, even if well-reasoned. I am always looking for a document, a press release from the companies that I am researching, because that's something that they are legally accountable for. It's something that companies use to signal their intentions or their accomplishments. And so to me, those are facts. I think if you approach it as an archaeologist, that there's these points of data. I've seen, oh, this is happening over here. I've seen this happen over here. What does it mean? I think you're on safer ground because everybody has an opinion, and it's hard to separate the noise from the actual signal so much in crypto.
We have a big announcement from Novati in Australia. They are a leading fintech company. They're an ODL user, which means they use the digital asset XRP in their payment flow. They are going to go live on November 1st with a stablecoin built on the Stellar rails. And yes, they are also going to build a stablecoin on the RippleNet rails. This stablecoin will be available on a direct one-to-one swap with the fiat Australian dollar. The big news coming from the Stellar camp is that they have launched their smart contracts. This is a big deal. This has my attention. Having smart contracts capability is extremely important, so no doubt I will not take my eye off the Stellar network. To help attract some builders on the platform, you can experiment and submit a code sample, issue a tutorial, a blog post, or a video documenting your experience, and you'll have a chance to win and receive 250 to 3,000 XLM as an award. As most of you know, I sold my XLM back in May, but this announcement has me taking another look. I love that the Stellar Foundation chose the name Sotoban for their smart contracts platform. It takes me right into the fluff. Sotoban is an abacus developed in Japan, derived from the ancient Chinese suampan. The Sotoban is still used today. It's been taught in schools for over 500 years, deeply rooted in the value of learning fundamentals as a form of art. They start drills to enhance this mental calculation in primary schools. The competitions are amazing to watch. I'm going to let a video of somebody who's very good at it take you out. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.